pertaining to what we do here, this would be the right time to ask such questions. And one thing that I would refrain from is actually two things. Please do not try to interpret somebody else's question on their behalf when they are still here. Probably this is what they mean. They mean, Swamiji. No, let them struggle to explain it if they have any questions. Second, tangential questions based off of the first question will not be entertained. Otherwise, we'll get into one tangent and there is no coming out of it. Are those 2 points clear? Come kar. So the first question that was asked was by the 9th grade teachers is, do you know what is the syllabus of 9th grade? Hindu culture. So while discussing that Hindu culture, they had a discussion and they came across in various classroom environments that because there are so many other religions that talk about terrorism as one of their main forefront, and they would like to terrorize people into religion, and Hinduism is not, therefore Hinduism is the best. And the teacher's question was, how do we prove to the kids, or how do we get to the kids saying that you have to appreciate each religion as on the equal turf? So it puts me in a tough spot with that question. Why tough spot? Because I would say that probably the kids are right and leave it at that. For one aspect that one has to understand as to why okay, let me retrace back. There is only one religion in the world which says all religions are same. No other religion ever claims that. Instead, their effort has been always to prove that your religion is not that good and our religion is better than yours for these various reasons, therefore convert. And in Hinduism, we do not foresee a process of conversion. We have never tried to convert anybody. We have had enough population to handle that we never needed to work on other populations. So that is one salient factor of Hindu religion. The oneness that is talked about, it is talked about from the perspective that, like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ji used to say, you call water with any name, it does not change water. It still is water. And I think somebody stated that, is there another group running downstairs somewhere? मधु जी, नीचे कोई बदमाश बच्चे बैठे हुए हैं, सबको ऊपर भागा के ले आओ. So a rose is a rose is a rose. You call it by any name. So you call it aqua, you call it not the rose, but water. You call it aqua, you call it water, you call it pani, you call it jalam, you call it neelu, tanni, vellam, jal. It still is the same, H2O. Or if the kid has just learnt his first chemistry class and where it has been said H2O and NaCl comes to show off with you at home, mom, there is, I think, little NaCl required. So they think that the mom doesn't know these things, and the mom says, with the I factor in or without the I factor in, iodized or non-iodized. Oh, you know what is NaCl? You know what is H2O? कौन है वो लोग? There is, in these rooms, there are 2 or 3 groups. Herd them in. So from that perspective, yes, all religions are the same. When we talk about on a Siddhanta level, Siddhanta, on the levels of principle of attaining to that Godhood, there can be various differences. And if we focus anywhere on the differences, we can highlight as many differences as possible. But as a human being, God should not be the reason. This is what our religion says. God should not be the reason for creating animosity or differences. God should be that one principle which unites and brings everybody together in unison, wiping out all the divisions. So whichever form of God that you worship should not be a matter. And in the name of God, there have been a lot of atrocities done. Wherever such atrocities are done, we should be able to identify those atrocities and those who are the culprits spreading such atrocities, and not blame the entire religion for it. Let us not stoop down to the level of their meanness to comment on other aspects of religion and bring down our broadness with which our ancestors have taught us our religion, the basic tenets. And that being the perspective in our Hindu religion, we don't say just that sarve Haindavaha sukhino bhavantu, sarve Haindavaha. No, we don't say that. We say sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Sarvam samastam, not just janaha, every being, every creature, may they be happy, is the message. And to look at the good in every possible is what we need to teach. Hope the 9th graders have gotten the message. Hate not the sinner, but the sin. To help remove that aspect of discord in understanding. Now, the second question that the 9th graders had was in describing or in trying to understand the 4 varnas, 4 ashramas and the 4 paths. The 4 varna, what are the 4 varna? Black, white, brown and the rest. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are the varna. What are the 4 ashramas? So, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasi. What are the 4 yogas? The 4 yogas are Karma, Bhakti, Jnana and Dhyana. 5th, that which is unto itself, is the Raja Yoga or Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. All these are 3 different names of the same. And if you need, and the question was, where can we find more references on these? What books do we study? So one book that I can think of offhand is, there is a book by Swami Chandrasekharendra Saraswati, and his book is called Hindu Dharma. It's a nice, thick, bulky book. It's called Hindu Dharma. There he talks about this in an uncoated manner. There is no sugar coating. And he lays it out very beautifully. That is one good book to refer. It is available downstairs in the library, and the person that you have to meet is Sumana Hegde. Now, the second book that comes into my mind is written by Varnashrama Dharma, written by Swami Shivanandji, which is available as a PDF on DS dlshq.org, dlshq.org, Divine Life Society Headquarters.org, shortened as dlshq.org. There you will find Varna Ashrama Dharma. There's a PDF on that. You can avail that. Usually what happens with the books is after 60 years you lose your copyright on that print version. So the Divine Life Society books, most of them written by Swami Shivananji, have passed that, and they have done an amazing job of digitizing it and putting it on the web as a PDF, free for everybody to browse through. You can actually download them and read at your own leisure. And if you have a Kindle, you can send it to the Kindle account and it will send it to you as a EPUB folder onto your Kindle to read, if you are into the digital media. Otherwise you can print it out and read it as well. Save trees, go green.
From the audio, anybody with the audio expert?
अभी चला गया, ठीक है. At least he has not put it on.
Pause the recording.
No, recording चलना चाहिए.
There's two tracks playing on some program, so I just paused.
Fine. If it doesn't record, it doesn't record. We will find a method to. We can draw it from the video, right? Haripriya? Google Hangouts is on. Google Hangouts is there, then it's fine. Don't worry. Okay. Now, what was the other thing that I was saying? Okay, the second book was stated. Now, the third book is, it's in Hindi though. It is by Gita Press publication. It is called Kalyan Kalpataru. Like we have in Chinmay Mission a series called Mananam series. They similarly have Kalyan Kalpataru, where they have different topics and they call it Anka. Anka is books that are published on that particular topic. Various masters, various people that have spoken on that particular topic, they have a book on that, and it is in Hindi though, and it is called again the Hindu Dharma or Uski Pratha, where he covers not just the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. He also covers the four yogas. He covers, in that particular book, it covers various aspects. What is the Nari Dharma? What is the Purusha Dharma? What is the... So all these different dharmas are talked about in that book, in that edition. So it is available. You can refer to those books. So that answers my first two questions. Now, if you have any questions, shoot, but with love.
Something that came up in our discussion as teachers, we often get asked by parents or by students, can you talk to my parents or can you talk to my child and make them understand to make certain choices? What is the best way for teachers to handle?
Put them both in one room and say what you have to say and leave it as a decision for them to make. Ours is not a job to make a decision on their behalf. Whatever is that which you are teaching, which helps them make that decision, put them both in the same room, tell this is the concern, this is how we would look at it, and it is left to you both to make a decision.
Swami, we discussed 7th grade curriculum,
Mahabharata.
And the common concern was the curriculum is too big to be covered. So can it be split in 2 years, just like NA Center is doing it?
See, the story is, you have got 36 weeks, of which 4 weeks go away in festivals. Don't consider this year as a criteria, because this year, having 100th year and various things happening, it's a little chaotic pattern. Otherwise, regularly we have about 32 weeks. In the 32 weeks, the way we divide the 7th grade syllabus, which is the Mahabharata. And the Mahabharata, when you look at the entire story premise, it spans about 5 generations or 6 generations, starting from all the way from Shantanu, going all the way up to Janamejaya. So it is about 6 or 7 generations that it spans. Not most of the earlier part has to be focused, not the later part has to be focused. It is from when the Pandu and his brothers Dhritarashtra and what is the other one? Vidura. From there onwards, the story is where we need to focus on. There are a couple of audios that we have spoken in the earlier teachers training. Do we have those audios? So there we have divided into 4 segments, and Manisha ji can give you the audio to go through. The purpose of Balavihar, the way I look at it, from where we have made it into just 1 year syllabus, is the labyrinth of Hindu Shastra that we have out there is vast. That you pick even Mahabharata and you speak on Mahabharata for 13 years and still it will not be sufficient. Or for that matter, Ramayana or any other topic out there that we teach. So what we are trying to do is to familiarize them with the main character, main story, and main moral that has to be taken from that particular episodes of Mahabharata, from that epic that which we teach. It is like I give the example of trying to teach somebody to refer to a dictionary. We don't memorize the entire dictionary, or we don't go through the entire word to word unless your child is going through spelling bee. I don't know how they teach that. I just made that assumption. So we teach the child how to look for a word in the dictionary. So that is how we are familiarizing Hinduism to our next generation. That earlier when I had taken, 15 years ago when I had come, almost every grade had nothing but different aspects of Ramayana being covered. So I said, this way we are just portraying that there is only Ramayana as a scripture and nothing else. Therefore, we started adding in various concepts of varieties. So the first 5 years, first 4 years, we go into different stories, because that is a good age because they want to listen to the stories. Then as they come into the middle school, we teach them symbolism, we teach them values, and their grasp and understanding is growing. And by the time they come to the 6th grade, it is not that these values are something that are only respected but never followed, because there is a discrepancy that they find, that the values are only taught, but there is so much of discrepancy that we find all around us, that we introduce saints and sages of the past, ancient past and recent past. So to say that these are the people who have gone through, this is their life, and they have applied these things to become who they are. They were not born that way. So the saints and sages are introduced. Then we should have introduced the 7th grade syllabus way down when they were young. But even for the most experts of minds, teaching a Upanishad, teaching Ramayana is easy, teaching stories of Krishna is easy. Teaching Mahabharata is a difficult task. Just to give you an idea, from Shantanu to Janamejaya, the number of characters, number of people's names that are repeated, can you guess how many are there? There are about 85,000 names. So to remember 85,000 names and the sequence of episodes of interaction, and one meshing with the other, and there's so many stories. It's a very confusing topic for younger minds. So therefore, at the 7th grade, where they can understand dharma and adharma, which they are learning as values. So our focus is to keep it curtailed in 1 year and take those 4 different segments which are already recorded. Therefore, I'm not going into it, and that will be supplied to you. highlight one shloka or one aspect of that Pancharatna, not go through the entire details of it. Saying that there are thousands of such gems, 5 are the most important ones. Okay.
Thanks for covering 9 great questions. There was one more discussion saying that this year, spring break, test performance, and walking on t-shirt selling all came together. That took away 2 months. They were not able to cover all the chapters. Luckily, upcoming year there is no performance. Good or bad. But for walking on t-shirt, they are saying that take the t-shirt sizes. Beginning, like registration time, take the kids with t-shirt sizes, let them pay at that upfront. Then during walking on time, just target parents. That is just an idea so that teachers and students can concentrate on syllabus.
Good suggestion. We'll take it into consideration. I'm not assuring you that it will be immediately implemented. Good suggestion. We'll think about it. Oh, where is she? You said you had a lot of questions. Her way of putting it, lot of Q's but no A's. You all heard her question, right? In the Upanishad, when we started, it talks about a personality and the growth of the personality in all dimensions and a balance struck at all levels. But in day-to-day life, it seems to be quite a challenging task. I won't say impossible, but quite a challenging task. How do we strike that balance? Which part of India do you belong to? South India. Very good. So, can you describe a good full meal traditionally served? On a banana leaf. For somebody who has not been introduced to such kind of a eating system, they look at it Holy smokes. What exactly? Where do I start? Where do I end? What is this? Right? And you talk to any true Indian, everybody has a thali system. Like that was a South Indian thali, there is a Gujarati thali, there is a North Indian thali. Pretty much it is the same, similar kind of a, with uh, the nuances added from that particular region. Now, when you ask them the reason as to why so many varieties, what is one reason that you would say so many varieties?
My grandmother answered me, why do you have to eat all this stuff? It's always made sure that when, for a full meal, you have a taste of every sense. So you have something sweet, you have something sour, you have something bitter, you have something salty, and you have something spicy. So you that all this, it's more like you're like a layer of everything. You can't just have one. So you need to have a little bit of everything for it to be a complete.
How about as a dietitian? There is enough of roughage, there is enough of ghee brings in the fatty acids, then there is carbs, then there is minerals, there is vitamins, there is probacteria, probiotics, probacteria, probiotics. So you have everything and it makes it a balanced diet. So one has to be introduced systematically to that kind of a diet, and then it becomes a cherishable thing to enjoy. So at this point it may seem like so many things to do and so little opportunity. How? Is it even a possibility? Yes, that scare, that fear can creep in when you look at the balanced life that is proposed in the scriptures. But in spite of such balanced diet, when there is a liking towards something, that is what you go for seconds, thirds, and right. So at this point, wherever you are in the intersection of life, the first thing that we have to understand is the priority of life. For somebody who does not have a convenience or a comfort of having a meal assured for the evening, I would not suggest, or even the scripture does not suggest, that you spend time in all the other things. First go earn. And primarily the scriptures say the earning part was supposed to be the part of the husband. He was called the Bharta, not Baiganka. That becomes Hindi, but in Sanskritam, Bharta means Bharana Poshana Rakshana Yoho, in Bharana, in bringing all the basic necessities, Poshana to nurture, Rakshana to protect, Samarthaha iti Bharta, the one who is capable of doing that. So FYI, if just letting you know that that is the definition. And pretty much I think many of you would fall into that category. And the job or the job description of the mother was to raise a child. But in today's world, I would call that as a double whammy. Hit from both sides, that yes, we have the professional freedom, we have the financial freedom, we have all the other things that Women Lib has brought in, but it has not removed the basic responsibilities away. That also has to be catered to. Now, in between these, what is the priority? That each one of us has to decide based on the intersection of life, and include these various aspects as a part of life, even if they are done at a smaller quantities. But a discipline of maintaining as much possible in, even if it is smaller quantities. You don't need to be meditating and disturbing the Lord in the name of puja for 4 hours. You can do it in just 5 minutes. But that connection to that Lord is what establishes that faith, trust, belief in you, with which you go out in a positive manner in the world. And instead of focusing on reading something else, you can focus on, day-to-day basis reading, change the priorities there. And if we focus on including a small portion of it, with the idea, where we fail is that small portion that we include, we draw a line and saying this is it. No, as we grow, those proportionalities change. And even the full meal, as we grow, the proportionalities change. Suddenly we say, oh, I'll take little of carb, I'll take more of the other things. And there is an age that you cross wherein whatever you dump, it doesn't digest. So you take it really light. So depending on the age, depending on the circumstances, you change. Similarly is this pattern, and one has to have that priorities clear. When the priorities are not clear, every walk of life there is a confused intersection staring at us. So clear that priorities, and it should pave a good path of balance. Hopefully I have answered the spectrum of your question has so much to offer, but I think I've given you a little glimpse into how to. See, when you raised your hand, the first thing that the true smart one.
So, you said that teaching is one of the best ways to learn something. So, last few weeks, we asked the students to volunteer to teach one chapter, provided them the lesson plan and some outline. And it's turning out quite well. Sometimes there's anything much better than teaching. How they lay it out on the board and prepare for it and giving their perspective.
So when you see that they're doing good, there can be two results. Either a job insecurity or a pride that yes, the next generation is going in the right direction.
Right. So I'm not sure if that is recommended or allowed or
I would rather say that you still hold the reins and bring it up as a discussion, and that which they have to present, provide it as a room for discussion, that little portion that they can come and present, rather than opening the entire spectrum for it. Because once they start going in so far it has been going on a good track, so knock on wood, but if they go on a wrong track, to retrieve them and put them back in the right track becomes a very difficult task at that formative ages. So you hold the reins of the direction and give them chunks of portion to that they can come and present, and that way you can, you still have the room for accommodating it or correcting it, rather than allowing that complete free flow of according to their understanding.
provide the framework, the outline, the structure, and then be prepared as well to fill in, to cover things they have not fill in.
So you should be the one leading it and bringing them into the presentation, rather than they being the main and you being the fillers. That is a shift that has to be maintained.
So they know how it is to be in teacher's shoes. One day the student came up and said, I wish there were more of my classmates today. So they know how important attendance is.
What to talk of the teachers' attendance themselves? You're talking of the students' attendance, the teachers themselves' attendance is like halfway off the mark.
This is a question I always get asked from kids. They read books about gods and Rakshasa and Daityas, and they ask, even if we call devas or perfect, they should not lie, but still training and various means to kill the Rakshasa and Daityas. How do you respond to those questions where our scriptures also tell that devas have used like Indra and all they have used different means to accomplish
So whenever
the jealousy also between the gods?
I get your question, there is Devas and the Daityas. The Daityas are those who are self-centric, and the Devas are supposed to be non-self-centric and to be doing their own jobs. And in certain stories or certain parts of the story, certain part of the Puranic literature, we find that sometimes Indra has done certain things, or yes, we come across a story. But the completeness of the story lies in what happened to Indra after that. It is not assured that that position is retained by him after he has done what he has done. When you follow through the rest of the story, not just that particular chunk, which again brings the onus on us that though it is just this part of the syllabus, I have to know the other aspects of the story so that I give a justified presentation to that story. So Indra, after having lied or been tricky, he loses the position of being in the Indra Padavi, and then he is cursed to become a python. There was Nahusha who becomes Indra, and he does something wrong and he gets cursed to become a python. So there are those repercussions also when included, saying that they are also not scot-free if they do something hanky-panky.
Devas are also not open.
Oh, they are these jivas who have gone into that position. Indra is not an individual. Indra is like a position. Like the president is not a name of a person, it is the position. So Indra is also a position. So these jivas who have acquired enough punya have reached there. Having reached there, if there is any discrepancy in their action, in their intent, at that level, it is not even an action, even an intent level, they're again pushed back. And the greatest story was the discrepancy of Jaya Vijaya. That they were the sentinels, and they could not recognize those who have the what you call diplomatic immunity. The four Sanat Kumaras had the diplomatic immunity into Vaikuntha, that they did not require any kind of papers of identification. And even not doing that, their job of understanding who has to be allowed, who has not to be allowed, was considered as tamasic in nature. And that tamas in the most sattvic place is not acceptable, therefore they were cursed. Okay, this is one part of the story. The other part of the story is, which is where I find a lot of solace, is as a devotee, if they have done something wrong, what does the Lord do? He takes the trouble on himself to make sure that he comes down and equip these people who are cursed to get back to their original status. Right? Jaya Vijaya got cursed. In fact, they got cursed to be as a Daitya for eternity. But then, on the request of Bhagavan Vishnu, they change it to 3 lives. And every life, Bhagavan, without Jaya Vijaya asking, he said, you being the sentinels and you being my sentinels, it is my responsibility to bring you back. So as a devotee, if we do something wrong, it is not that we are abandoned or we are thrown away. He takes care in making sure that he provides that environment for us to grow to the next level. He doesn't abandon us completely. While that question is being asked, there is another aspect of the, how do I put it without hurting? The goody two-shoe parenting here is, there is so much of violence in our scriptures. How do we, and they feel very awkward going through that subject with the kids. And one mother came to me and said, Swamiji, this is too much of violence. We should rethink about our syllabus. I don't even allow my kids to watch Tom and Jerry because there's so much of violence in the name of humor. I mean, we take it to an extreme. So I would like to say that, look, our job is not just make a protective bubble around them. It is to equip them to understand that the world has both aspects of it, evil as well as good. Now this is Satya Yuga. In Satya Yuga, can you name an evil person? Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, these were from the Satya Yuga. Anybody from Treta Yuga? Ravana and his minions. In the Dwapar Yuga? So many names. But in Kali Yuga, we find Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha plus Ravana, Kumbhakarna plus Sishupala, Dantavakra, Duryodhana and his 100 brothers, Karna, Shakuni, all of this put together, little in everyone. Meaning, as much as we talk about being positive, there is enough scope of vulnerability to go negative as well. When we hit such situations that the environment are all turning towards negativity, how do I tap into that positive resource and stand upright? And how have they done it? How has Prahlada done it? How has various of these devotee stories that are given? They have struck that balance in spite of such pressures created. They did not take out a banner and run to the justice system saying, I want a divorce from my father because there is child trauma. Prahlada Vacha. He faced it all, and in fact, the way he prayed to the Lord, he said that, oh Lord, if he had not done that kind of a torture, I would have not had your darshan. If I have your darshan, it is because of him. He should be blessed and protected from any naraka. Look at the balanced perspective of the devotee. So when we are trying to teach the child, it is not to put them in a protective bubble saying that only acha, only good. No, there is both. And as you are going out into the world, when you hit these patches of negativities, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect others around you? That is the source for which these stories are explained. In fact, if you go into Bhagavad and other Puranas, the description is so graphic. How Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narasimha, there is like one chapter, but a whole 30-40 shlokas worth description as to how he is tearing him apart. Gory description, graphic description. Why? Even that is the animosity is also a part of your life and growth. Cannot avoid it. To put it in a very practical nugget for us to understand, there was this parent being very finicky about, oh Swamiji, I'm scared about my child learning car and going out there. College जाने के बाद जो भी करना करने दो. I said, look at it. I presented two pictures to that set of parents. Both parents were like that. Usually one is scared, the other one is like, fills in and pushes some confidence into the equation. Both of them were like that. And I was feeling sorry for the kid. Seriously. And I said, look, there are two scenarios. One, that your child learns that car driving and makes mistakes, but it is right in front of you, learns, and you have equipped that kid with the know-how. What happens if your car suddenly stops? You call AAA or you call someone else. What do you do? If your car is hit, what do you do? What is your responsibility? How do you take care of that situation? And without learning all this, you send them to the college because you are scared in letting them learn this. And there something happens and they're on the phone to guide them becomes even more difficult. And the father goes, "Oh, ऐसा सोचा ही नहीं मैंने. I didn't even think about it this way." So it is not our responsibility. In the name of our responsibility, it is not our job to protect them, but to provide enough scope that they grow strong, that any situation thrown to them, that they can handle it. I hope I have extended your question and answered a couple of other details as well. Maybe I can entertain 2 more questions. Okay, 1 and 2.
Stories where we say that somebody was a bad guy, Rakshas God, and in the last minute he chanted God's name, and that's how he went to Swarga, or he was really. How are his actions like throughout life, the bad things?
I'm repeating. So her question was, there are descriptions of these bad people who have done a lot of atrocities through their entire life, and suddenly at the last moment of their life they have the mukti. They merge into the Lord because they have taken the name of the Lord. Case in point being Shishupala, Dantavakra. This is the exact same question that was asked by Yudhishthira to Bhagavan Krishna after the Rajasuya Yaga. So the Rajasuya Yaga is being performed. Many of them say Bhishma should be worship worthy, Agra Puja. Then Bhishma himself nominates Bhagavan Krishna for the Agra Puja. So everybody agrees to Bhagavan Krishna's puja, and as Bhagavan Krishna puja is being done, the 108 names, the task is taken by Shishupal and Dantavakra. They start chanting the 108 names. गाली देते हैं. And the blessings that was given to their mother by Krishna was that I will not count all their insults as a cumulative one. That some time ago they said they gave me 3 galis there, 4 galis there, I'll keep counting, and when they cross 100, done. At one sitting, if they cross 100, that is the day that they both are done with their lives, was the promise that he had. And that day they were so aggravated with their own emotions of jealousy towards Bhagavan Krishna that they go about giving him choicest of the galis. And Bhagavan Krishna says, look, you have just crossed half century. Stop here. He warns them. And the more he warns them, they get more aggravated. Karega kya tu? Huh? What will you do? And they go about again another 10 galis. 60 crossed, Baba. What? 60? I'll take you 70 now. Wait. And they go with the next 10. And they cross 100 and they both are killed. And their Jivatma comes and merges into Bhagavan Krishna. There Yudhishthira asked this question, what happened about their, constantly doing all these atrocities and calling you bad names, and they merge into you? How fair is that? So there is a beautiful message given. This is in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam. Kenapi bhavena manaha Krishne niveshayet. Kenapi bhavena. It does not matter how you remember the Lord, but you remember the Lord is the criteria. Kamsa remembered the Lord purely out of fear. Shishupal and Dantavakra remembered Bhagavan purely out of jealousy. There was one more fellow. Even during Bhagavan Krishna's time, not everybody jumped into the bandwagon saying, oh, Bhagavan Krishna is really avatar. There was another fellow who claimed himself to be the actual avatar. His name was Poundrak Vasudev. Poundrak was his original name, and because in the Puranas it is already given that Bhagavan Krishna's name will be Vasudev because he is son of Vasudeva, so he added the name Vasudev to his name. And it was also described he was Chatur Bhuja, that avatara will have 4 hands. Therefore, he had 2 wooden hands tied to his shoulder. And on that he had chakra. There were 2 people posted to constantly keep rotating. I am not making this story up. If you read that part of the Bhagavatam, these descriptions are given that he had 2 people rotating that chakra around to give the feel that he is Poundrak Vasudev. And he also challenges Bhagavan Krishna, and he also gets eliminated or killed, and his soul also merges. And what was his thing? He was, even in that competition, he was imitating and thinking of the Lord. Now the idea is, whether you take the name of the Lord out of fear, out of anger, out of jealousy, out of hatred, or you take the name of the Lord out of love, out of understanding, out of deep contemplation, you reach the same place. But while going through the contemplation, love and meditation on the Lord, you find the peace within. Here, you experience it. You find the joy. Here, you experience it. Those who go with hatred, those who go with jealousy and other negativities, what happens to them? They don't acquire that peace, they don't acquire that joy in this life. But because of that constant manana, chintana, though instigated by a wrong motive, still thinking of the Lord, therefore they merge into that Lord. Now the choice is, whichever path you choose, you have to be 100% to it. I hate God. Can you hate him 100%? Shishupala Dantavakra hated him from the bottom of their heart, 100%. Can you hate him 100%? Okay, on the flip side, can you love God 100%? Neither we can do that 100% nor this 100%. That is why we are where we are. Right? This is one part of the story. The other part of the story is those people who have gone through such various experiences of various atrocities that they have done. It is not just that they have done their atrocities, they have also faced various torturous moments in their life for which they have been paying for everything that they have done, what they have done as wrong. That also has to be included as a part of their experience. For us, I believe it would be difficult, very difficult to do negative campaigning for the Lord. So let us do the positive campaigning for the Lord. Hope I have answered your question.
Swamiji, my question is, when we are explaining to the kids the theory of karma in our cycle of life, sometimes if they say, this person is me, being a bully or something, and we complain to the teacher, but yet he's continuing to do what he does. So sometimes, let's say that person gets hurt or gets in trouble, and they say, well, this guy deserved it, or the bad karma I did or whatever. So how do we explain to them, even when we talk to the fifth graders about the key values, things that they incorporate, to lead a good life, righteous life. And so how do we explain in the right way the theory of karma and how it plays into how people get kind of punished in a way?
Was her question clear to everybody? Yes. Okay. First thing is, it is not theory of karma. It is called karma siddhanta. So I would like to change the vocabulary there. It is not a theory, it is a principle of karma. The reason I want you to correct that when you are communicating with any age group, as the principle of karma, when it is a principle, it's a fact. Whether you agree with it, disagree with it, whether you believe in it or you disbelieve in it, it is going to have an impact in any case. Principle of electricity. I don't care. I don't believe in electricity. Laga ke dekh. Still don't believe in it. It will have still the same impact whether you believe in it or not. Right? It is a principle of gravity. Similarly, it is principle of, right, it's a principle of karma, principle of action, and not theory. Theory means it is yet to be proven, it has a lot of hypotheses in it, there is a lot of equations that are not clear, but it probably makes sense, let's make use of it. This is not a theory, it is a principle. Now coming back to your basic question, the question was, how do we talk about the equation wherein somebody has bullied you and nothing happens, you take a lot of corrective measures and still doesn't happen, that it helps you, and something bad happens to them and I say good for it. See, that is where I would say that, and you put a clause there that it is to be a 5th grader. So that's what curtails most of my vocabulary. So I'm trying to weed out all the big terms and put it as simple as possible. That whatever happens in life, it happens unto us so that it teaches us how to learn, grow, to be stronger. It is coming through that person and though by not that person. If that principle is explained, like many of you had acquired enough punya to get a good satsang, and your prarabdha that I was the one who was supposed to deliver it. किस लिए थाली दे रहे हो वो बताओ यार. I'm already digging a hole for myself and you're right. So it is coming through and not by. That one first principle has to be cleared. Second, that whenever somebody is in pain, it can be the one who has actually caused that pain to me is going through to turn around and say yes, is creating a bad momentum of action for which there would be repercussions. Therefore, when they are in pain, it takes a lot of us to be grounded in that depth to go back and give a helping hand to pull them out or help them out of that painful situation. And once you do it even at a very practical, pragmatic level, the one who has been trying to bully, when they are in trouble and you go help them, wouldn't that bridge the gap and change the entire equation? Otherwise, we'll have to go through the repercussions of that which that person is, when our reactions to that person is being instigating in a wrong direction. So if these two principles are explained, you have done your worth. Okay. I guess this was a good question answer sessions. As I keep telling in every such gathering, that there have been many, at least 4 or 5 teachers in the last year who have called me up and said that they are having a trouble explaining the set of principles as to how to communicate it to the group, how to word it, that they have an understanding but they are not able to communicate it, word it to that age group. And I have sat down with them 2-3 sessions separately, and then we have gone through, and it has made an impact. So the thing that I'm trying to tell you is, when you want to teach, and uh, there is a resource that you want, and you want to know how to, and you're running around not knowing, the first person that you reach is your group of teachers of that grade, and then the SME is supposed to coordinate that, then reach to the coordinator. And if it is that pertinent, do not hesitate to reach across and do whatever necessary to bring that understanding, and the resources that I have will be at your disposal. Is that clear? Don't hesitate. I have been told that I look very intimidating. Do I? Huh? So we'll stop here. I know many of you are like, you just saw him now. So let us stop here. There will be a tea break. What? नहीं चाहिए? There is tea available. अगर चाहिए तो जाके पी लो. नहीं, we have tea. खत्म हो गया? ओ पी भी लिया? फिर भी सो रहे हो? हाँ तेरी. चलो, we'll stop it here. Uh, After this, you will all be breaking up into your sessions, and whatever dance that you have practicing, go practice. But tomorrow, in the schedule that was sent, I'd request the coordinators also to send an email. It says 10 o'clock, but I would like to meet at 9 o'clock and finish the Taittiriya Upanishad 9 to 10, and then we'll have a movie workshop, and the movie is still a surprise. No, I can see you. No Star Wars. The one that got released was not up to the mark yet. So maybe the next one in the series. So I have something in mind. We will do that. It will be worth your time, Baba. So hustle. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Can we all sit by sessions, please? And we all want to go home. So really quickly, so if we can sit down by session, we can get this accomplished really in a short period of time. Yeah, yeah, I'm not. There's no,
Because we want to break up, go to Tulsi Nivas and practice.
Yeah, yeah. So Maya ji has been pushing me to do this.
मैंने बोला कार्यक्रम नाही करणार ना
No, कोणाच नको करायचं.
ते तर सगळं त्याचं म्हणजे पंचच गेला ना ती मैया सांगते मग मला कार्यक्रम करायचे
Hari Om. Hari Om. Can we all sit down, please? Hari Om. Hari Om. We are waiting for you, Swamiji. Thank you. I didn't want to. Okay. So I'm going to give. I think there was a lot of discussion, and most of the coordinators felt that we may not have enough time to do actual run through here, but you all need to know the logistics and how we are framing this up, and that's why it is important for that we present a holistic show together on the Gurudev Jayanti day. It's not going to be one item by item, like one session went, then second session went. We are not going to be presenting that show like that. So after listening or getting the information about from all the sessions that what they're performing, with Anilji's help, we have come together with put it in a framework, and we are presenting in that framework. And for that framework, somebody actually shouted Star Wars. So we actually took Star Wars as the framework or reference to present this. And our title of the show is going to be Gurudev Force. Okay, so if nobody has, if people are not familiar with Star Wars, at the beginning of the show, when it starts, we are going to give a very short gist of what Star Wars is all about. And obviously there is a good side and a dark side, and it actually pertains to what the discussion just Swamiji explained to us. There's a good side and the bad side in the Star Wars, as typically in any fictional movie that you see. And the whole premise is that Swami Chinmayananda started his mission to destroy ego from everyone and provide happiness, maximum happiness to maximum people. So that was his mission. So we all, as his members of the army, comparing to the Star Wars, there was a rebel army. So we are, as teachers, we are the part of the army that have come to planet Earth in order to help people destroy their ego. And in order to do that,
no, I know you're laughing, but honestly, the reason is that Swamiji made a statement actually, as most of the children were putting up the shows. What happened was that when the high school were performing, they all showed up in saffron color, kurtas and saris and lungis and everything else. Swamiji turned to me and he said, "Oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen so much saffron in the stage in one place since we graduated in Sandipur." So, you know, he's gone through this enough of times. So as I was talking to him, one of the things I happened to mention was, okay, so the theme is essentially Star Wars. And he said, okay, that sounds good, as long as it is within the context of happiness and ego and so on and so forth. So what we thought would be relevant was, we took essentially everything that you guys programmed. They're not changing any of that. It's essentially putting together a script that basically says, you know, here is the theme in the Star Wars. You know, we'll start with that. The objective is attaining the happiness